Now at 9, Pittsburgh State students bring the community together with a cornhole fundraiser. Plus, the Maple Leaf Festival hosts a chicken pageant. We'll hear from the winner of this unique contest. Halloween, is there such a thing as going overboard?
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A woman is dead after her car is hit by a semi on Highway 400 near Parsons, Kansas. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anthony Saviello. Authorities say 78-year-old Nancy Davis of Marshfield, Missouri was driving west on the highway when she crossed the center line and hit a semi headed east. Davis was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the semi was taken to the hospital. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for a first look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Anthony. It's been a cloudy day across the area. You can see the clouds are not only in effect in the 4 states, but all the way up into north central Kansas. And we are starting to see some breaks in the clouds as we go through the overnight hours. In fact, we're looking at temperatures dropping through the 40s all the way down to about 37 degrees tomorrow morning. So some patchy frost might be possible in some of the colder valleys. Sending out the kids to school in the morning, 38 degrees and chilly with mostly cloudy skies. And then in the afternoon, it becomes more partly cloudy with a high of around 62 degrees. And looking down the lane, we are expecting a chilly night tonight, a partly cloudy Monday, a slow warm up, but the drought looks like it's going to continue for a while. And I'll have more details on that coming up in just a little bit.
Thanks, Sam. See you then. Pitt State students today hosted a cornhole tournament. The purpose of the event was for PSU students to get to know the community as well as give back to their fans and supporters. The tournament doubled as a fundraiser where all proceeds were split between 3 local organizations.
The main idea of today is to kind of bring the community of Pittsburgh, Kansas and the community of the college itself together as one. That's kind of my job. So we were looking at things over the summer and what exactly we could do to fulfill that. And one thing we decided on was that, a cornhole is something that's very appropriate for this time of year.
The Maple Leaf Festival hosted their second day of events today. Sunday's festivities included a chili cook-off. It cost $10 to enter and $5 to taste. About 10 different chili booths were set up, with each booth offering a different take on classic chili.
Yeah, so we change it up from year to year, give to different organizations. Last year was the Carthage Humane Society, and this year it's the Carthage VFW. So keeping the funds local and trying to help our community in the best way we can.
All chili cooks made their chili on site at Central Park, and it featured 10 different booths. Also a part of the Maple Leaf Festival today was a chicken pageant. The rules are simple. Bring a chicken and dress it in a costume. The audience voted for their favorite chicken and costume for each age group. The winner walks away with a prize.
Yeah, we heard about it because my brother was in it like a few years ago, and so I thought I would do it.
About 30 chickens were in attendance, and there was even one dressed as fried chicken. Parsons residents today were able to participate in a mud run. The mud run consisted of more than 10 obstacles within a 1.5 mile long course. After the run, participants were able to visit the Parsons Fire Department area to get cleaned up.
We had seen a couple of the other rec centers do it in bigger cities, and we figured it'd be something different to offer to our community. And we started it 4 years ago, and we continue to do it every year.
All participants received a swag bag before the race began. A Halloween display in Stuttgart, Arkansas has been causing a divide in one neighborhood. Neighbors say they believe it should not have been put up in the first place. Ashley Luningham has the reaction from one family.
This display is supposed to be Halloween decorations, but for neighbors on this street and in the town, that is not what they saw. The decorations are garbage bags that resemble bodies hanging from trees with rope. Willis Chambers and his family live across the street and say they were shocked when they first saw it.
When I'm bagging my car out, the first thing I see in the rearview mirror is the silhouette of a black man hanging out of a tree. So the first thing you see, you grow up, you seeing all the movies, you seeing all the stuff in school and different stuff like that. So a lot of it's fear.
Chantel Chambers says law enforcement was called to ask them to take it down. It wasn't until Monday evening when she says City Councilman David Leach spoke with the homeowners. They started to take down the display.
20 or 30 minutes later, he began to start taking it down because it was so many people out here.
They took the hanging bodies out of the tree, but they still left up the person standing there with the hood and the noose in his hand and different things like that. And they wind up taking it down.
Prior to this, the Chambers say they have had a few disputes with the homeowners since last Thanksgiving. Many times they've had the cops called on them and say each time there was no substance to the complaint. Willis says for the safety of him and his family, he just wants it to stop.
We just want this particular situation to stop being harassed by the neighbors and have to endure this type of stuff. My grandkids, my daughter, my wife, having to see this kind of just outlandish type of racism that they're trying to express, in my view.
KATV did try to get a comment from the homeowners who put the display up in their yard. We rang the doorbell and knocked on the door several times, but were unable to get a response. KATV was told there was an apology posted on a private Facebook page, but we have not been able to see it.
City officials have not commented on the display controversy. Coming up, endangered plants and pollinators might be contributing to the rise in food prices. New research reveals a large part of plants may be wiped off the face of the earth before they're even discovered. To make matters worse, scientists also say the insects responsible for pollinating plants we rely on for many foods and medicines are also on the decline. Fox News correspondent Lauren Green takes a look at the causes, plus the potential health and economic impacts.
While inflation is still keeping food prices high, new studies reveal declining plant and pollinator populations could cause more pain for your wallet in the near future.
It's pretty grim.
Data published in this year's State of the World's Plants and Fungi report finds more than 75% of plants yet to be discovered on Earth are already at risk of going extinct. Researchers say flowering species are especially threatened.
We know that nearly half of all of our known species are at risk of extinction, 45%, and the ones we don't know about are even more at risk. We're looking at 3 in 4 of undescribed species are at risk of extinction.
The main culprit is habitat loss.
And the main driver of that is converting intact ecosystems to land that we as humans can make use of, so agricultural land, for example. And that's not really slowing down.
Another study published in the journal Science Advances finds the continued decline of flowering plants, combined with above-average global temperatures, are also causing the number of pollinating insects like bees, flies, and moths to drop by 61%. The study says pollinating insects in tropical regions of Asia, South America, and Africa are being hit hard. This could threaten vital cash crops like coffee and cocoa, which heavily rely on bees and flies to help them reproduce. Meanwhile, researchers say reductions in plant and bee populations could also impact our health, citing how many medicines are derived from plant materials. Lauren Green, Fox News.
Want to shed some pounds and perk up? A new study says find some shed shells. They'll help you out. Say hello to your new little friends for losing weight. They're exoskeletons. According to Washington University St. Louis School of Medicine study, creatures that have exoskeletons like cicadas or crustacean skeletons like crabs, shrimp, or lobsters contain a substance called chitin. The scientists say eating chitin activated the immune system in lab mice, and their body reacted with anti-obesity responses, as well as raised metabolism. Researchers believe the same responses could happen in humans. Meteorologist Sam Lane is next with a complete look at your forecast. We're taking a look into the later news in the tech world.
Well, it was another cloudy and chilly day across the 4 states with temperatures staying in the 50s all afternoon long and a little bit of sprinkle and shower activity mainly off towards the east. Right now, though, in Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri, things are looking pretty nice. We only made it up to 58 degrees today after starting out at 50, so it was a very, very short thermometer today. And of course, that was below the normals of 71 and 48 when you average it all out. And we're already behind for rainfall on the month now at 2/100ths below normal. Of course, we're 10 3/4 of an inch behind normal on the rainfall for the year. Right now in Joplin, it's a very cool 51 degrees with a north-northwest wind at 8. Dew point's 39, so we have quite a ways to go before we reach saturation. And 10 miles on the visibility right now, and the pressure's kind of high at 30.26. Temperatures across the region are still very pretty much in the 50s. 50 in Stockton right now, 54 in Nevada, 51 in Fort Scott, so a little bit cooler up to the north. Check out Cassville. They're already down into the 40s at 49 degrees. Here's a look at the satellite view. You can see a lot of clouds across the 4 states today, but you can also see the back edge now moving through Omaha, approaching Kansas City. That back edge will eventually work its way our direction as we go into the overnight and early morning hours. So tomorrow we're going to see a lot more sunshine than we saw today. Rain chances are going to be pretty close to 0 for the next 36 hours and really beyond that period. We have to wait until Wednesday night and Thursday before we start to see some rainfall. And even then it's not going to be all that much. In fact, the forecast right now just only has a few 1/100ths of an inch of rain with that next system as it comes in on Wednesday night and Thursday morning. So tonight we're going to see mostly cloudy skies with temperatures dropping through to the 30s into the lower 40s with north winds. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, 66 in Pittsburgh, and then you start getting close to 70 out towards the west, like in Sedan and in Howard. Then as we go into Tuesday morning, this is the morning where we could have some frost in the area with temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s. And then as we head into Tuesday afternoon, a beautiful day with temperatures in the upper 60s to the east and lower 70s out to the west. Notice the winds have turned back around to a southwesterly direction, which is a warm direction for us. And taking a look at the big picture in the upper airflow, you can see the storm system that had brought us all the cold air is now moving off to the east coast. Then we're going to be seeing this ridge of high pressure build in for the next few days, but then here comes another storm system. But unfortunately, this one appears to be weak and rapidly moving, and it's really not going to have a lot of moisture to work with. And that's why we're thinking the chances of rain, even with that system on Wednesday and Thursday, is only going to be about 20%, with a temperature of 73 on Wednesday and 74 on Thursday. But then after that, a really nice weekend shaping up next weekend with highs in the 60s and 70s and lows in the 40s, and then another chance of showers or rain the middle part of next week. So we do have a couple of chances of rain in there, but not big chances.
Well, it looks like we're going to need sweaters in the morning and then shorts in the afternoon.
That's exactly right.
Well.
You nailed it right
absolutely.
there. You want my job?
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. With the change of season, it's time to change up the direction of your ceiling fan. Something you may not know is the direction of and speed of your fan can really affect how warm your house gets. There is a switch that reverses the direction it rotates. Since heat naturally rises, you can use your fan to push warm air back down toward you.
The season we're coming into, have your ceiling fan on a slow speed blowing downwards or clockwise so that it will push the heat from the ceiling down towards the lower areas of your home.
Adjusting your ceiling fan can also help you save a little money on your utility bill during fall and winter. Coming up on how social media is fighting misinformation surrounding the conflict in Israel. Meta's social media platforms are stepping up efforts on misinformation. As the Israel-Hamas war continues, Facebook and Instagram are accelerating efforts to remove misinformation and violent content related to Israel's war against Hamas. Parent company Meta has banned Hamas from the 2 apps. Both platforms are utilizing a special operations center. It has fluent Hebrew and Arabic speakers who can assist in taking down violating content. Press organizations are assisting in content evaluation and fact-checking. Dozens of or more plaintiffs are joining an existing lawsuit against Apple over its AirTags. The plaintiffs claim the company has failed to prevent the AirTags from being used by stalkers. The suit, which was filed last December, now has 38 complaints. Apple is being accused of disregarding worries over the $29 device. According to the plaintiffs, they claim the AirTag could increase stalking, especially with its cheap price point. Apple says it's acknowledged problems and has devised safety upgrades since. Layoffs are hitting the gaming world. Fox's Iman Dingham has more on this edition of Fox on Game series.
We've been seeing a series of layoffs hit the tech industry over the past few months, and gaming is no exception. And now one of the biggest game developers is shedding hundreds of jobs as it looks to improve its bottom line. Epic Games, the makers of the massive hit Fortnite, laying off more than 800 employees worldwide. In an email to employees, CEO Tim Sweeney announced the layoffs, claiming Epic has been spending way more money than they earn, while they were investing in what he calls the next evolution of the company. Sweeney also announcing Epic is selling off the website Bandcamp, a recent addition to their portfolio, which focuses on independent musicians. Bandcamp will now go to music licensor SongTrader, while their advertising arm, Super Awesome, will divest and become its own company. Other major gaming studios have already followed suit, and with inflationary pressures on the rise again, we could be seeing even more layoffs throughout the industry. Epic will still be taking their fight to Google and Apple in court over the costs associated with being in their app stores. Check out these stories and more in the Fox on Tech podcast every weekend. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
The conflict in Israel rages on. We'll look at what is being done to help people from visiting nations escape the war. A friendly giraffe makes a big gaffe, trying to crash the party with two-legged friends. Carrie Hill of Granbury, Texas, and her two sons and one-year-old granddaughter were at the Fossil Rim Wildlife Center in Glen Rose, Texas Thursday, when a giraffe popped its head inside the sunroof of their vehicle. The giraffe lost its footing and fell onto the windshield of the Kia Sorento. The scared giraffe ran off with some glass shards coming down on the family. All were unharmed, including the giraffe, and Hill filed an insurance claim for a new windshield. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Israel prepares its offensive against Hamas. We'll be right back. Israel is vowing an overwhelming response to the Hamas terrorist attacks on its people. IDF forces said to be readying an assault of Gaza after putting the city under siege for over a week. It comes as Gazans are already in extreme danger and quickly running out of food, water, and supplies. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has the latest.
The Israeli Defense Forces say they're continuing to bomb Hamas organizations in Gaza, even killing one of the group's top commanders over the weekend. This comes as Israeli troops say they're preparing for a coordinated attack by land, sea, and air. The situation in Gaza is becoming increasingly dire even before Israeli forces move in. Days of relentless airstrikes have already left thousands dead. Hospital ICUs are packed with wounded patients, many of them children. And with deliveries of fuel and other supplies blocked off, they could have just hours of electricity left.
We're talking about Monday night, fuel off means the whole health system will be shut down. The whole patient in the ICU, the dialysis unit, they will facing the danger of death.
Israel has warned Palestinians to evacuate, saying it wants to minimize civilian casualties and that its goal is to destroy Hamas. Just a week after the terror group's brutal attack on Israeli settlements, we spoke to an Israeli woman who believes they have no choice but to fight.
How can I, an Israeli, can stay and live in a country that I know that every day my enemy can get inside the borders and slaughter the people and go, God forbid, into my house and kill my family? No. No Israeli can endure it. So we don't have any other option.
Meanwhile, clashes with Hezbollah on Israel's northern border with Lebanon are escalating fears that this conflict could spread. With more Americans desperate to leave Israel, the U.S. will allow citizens to leave by sea beginning Monday. In Jerusalem, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for another look at the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Anthony. It's a beautiful day out towards the west with lots of clear skies. We've been dealing with the clouds, though, here in the 4 states and also some scattered sprinkles and showers. But the back edge of the clouds is starting to work its way towards us. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 40s tonight, all the way down to about 37 by tomorrow morning. And looking at your bus stop forecast, if you're sending the kids out to school, chilly. They'll need a jacket with mostly cloudy skies and a temperature of 38. Then in the afternoon, they could probably ditch the jacket as we'll see a temperature of around 62 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And looking down the lane, it's going to be chilly tonight, partly cloudy tomorrow, and then a slow warm-up begins. But unfortunately, it looks like the drought is going to continue as well, and I'll have more details on that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. Facing criticism for failing to get Americans out of Israel, the Biden administration says it's now stepping up those efforts, including chartering flights for standard U.S. citizens. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth has more from Newark Liberty International Airport.
Well, I knew I needed to get my family out. I also felt like I wanted to stay.
There are thousands of Americans in Israel, many now struggling to get out of the country as the fighting intensifies. The State Department now setting up charter flights for those wishing to leave, part of a broader effort that could include evacuations by land and sea in the coming days. Some Americans in the region initially wanted to stay, citing family or business ties there. But when the violence started escalating, they said they had no choice but to leave.
It's very scary to think something's happening outside of my control. I can't protect my family. So, we're sleeping, sirens go off, we run, we grab the kids, run to the bomb shelter.
Others said they decided early on that they needed to get out. But with all American carriers suspending flights to and from Israel, it hasn't been easy. And even those who could get tickets say it was difficult just getting to the airport.
We weren't sure if they're going to be hit or if we're going to be safe. My kids were like, do we leave our luggage? Like, what happens? Do we just drop everything? Do you have your passports on you? So that was nerve-wracking.
We don't have an exact number of how many Americans are left in Israel, but the White House says they'll keep working to make sure nobody gets left behind.
We are assisting U.S. citizens who do want to leave Israel and providing them with a safe means of doing that.
And it could be months before U.S. carriers begin flying to Israel again. American Airlines saying their cancellations will last until at least December. At Newark Liberty International Airport, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
An airport in Argentina was the scene of many tearful reunions on Sunday. The first flight of citizens from Argentina who were flown out of Israel landed in Buenos Aires. 244 people were on the plane. It had departed from Rome after its passengers took charter flights there from Tel Aviv. Dozens of relatives were at the airport to greet their loved ones, many of whom are students, tutors, and teachers. Most of them had been taking part in student exchange programs in Israel. Around 825 other people were expected to arrive from Israel later on today. Still ahead, a man confesses to stealing the ruby slippers used in The Wizard of Oz.
Well, it's been a cloudy and chilly weekend across the 4 states with a little bit of sprinkles and light showers this morning, including Seneca, Missouri, to Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see on the motion today, you can see the wet pavement and the scattered showers there on the camera. And as it goes through the afternoon, you can see that the clouds did start to break up as we headed through the afternoon hours. And, well, I can't get the computer to advance there. Well, sorry about that, but you can at least see the rain showers that we had in some parts of the area this morning, but those have now moved out. We made it up to 58 today after starting out at 50 degrees, which was below the normals of 71 and 48. And, of course, we weren't anywhere near those records of 88 or freezing back in 1986. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at a cool 51 degrees with a northwest wind at 8. Feels like 51. The dew point is 39, so we have a little bit of ways to go before we become saturated. Right now we're at 63% on the humidity. Rainfall right now is way off to the east, and we're left with temperatures in the 40s and 50s right now. Check out Lamar, Stockton, 49, 48. The cool spot over in Monette. Meanwhile, it's 54 degrees over there in Sedan. We still have the clouds that are still with us, and that's going to continue to move to the south. And as a result, we're going to see more sunshine tomorrow. In fact, we're going to be looking at pretty much close to zero rain chance for the next 36 hours. We have to wait till Wednesday night and Thursday before the next chance of rain comes in. And even then, it's not that big of a deal. We're only expecting a few 1/100ths of an inch with that system, if anything at all. You can see most areas aren't going to receive hardly anything with that next system. So that's why we're thinking the drought is just going to continue until we get some decent rain in here. Temperatures tonight are going to be in the upper 30s and lower 40s with northerly winds. And then as we go into tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see a lot more sunshine and temperatures will respond as a result. Highs in the mid 60s to upper 60s, especially out towards the west, still under northerly winds. Then on Tuesday morning, that's when we think the threat of frost is out there, with lows in the 30s and lower 40s once again. I think these numbers are a little bit too high, especially down in Oklahoma, so don't be surprised if you see some frost Tuesday morning. Then Tuesday afternoon looks perfect. Temperatures in the upper 60s to the east and lower 70s, even approaching 80 out towards the west. Looking at the big picture, we have that big storm system that's brought all the cold air this weekend moving off to the east. And then we have a ridge of high pressure building in for the next few days. But here comes the next big storm system dropping down through the plains, but it's going to be starved for moisture. So as a result, we're not really expecting a whole lot with that system as it comes sailing by. Here's a look at the forecast. Tomorrow we're looking at 64 under partly cloudy skies, milder on Tuesday with 69. Then that chance of showers late Wednesday into early Thursday, but still highs in the 70s, and that continues into next weekend, which is really nice, and then another round of showers possible late Tuesday into Wednesday of next week.
I think this is perfect fall weather.
I think it's called Chamber of Commerce weather. That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, we'll hear more post-game coverage from Pittsburg State's win over Missouri Southern from Saturday. Plus, a new attendance record breaks for an outdoor basketball game in Iowa. Brock Baldridge will join us for the details next in sports.
The Pittsburg State Gorillas improved to 7-0 on the season after their 31-21 win on Saturday over the Missouri Southern Lions. Of course, Pittsburg State knows that they'll get everyone's best shot, especially against a rival.
Those young guys are stepping up, and they have to. There's no choice. You know, we've had a lot of bumps and bruises this season, and we need a lot more guys to continue to step up. We're going to get everybody's best shot, certainly, and you know, we kept it a close game for the entire game.
When you win, there's stuff to do that you can get better. When you lose, there's stuff to do to get better, and I don't know that it's proportional with the win or loss. So I don't know, after a loss, do you have that much more to get better, or I don't know. So we'll definitely dissect the film. We'll figure out what we can do better, and we'll find a way to strap it together for this last third of the season.
The Kansas City Chiefs are coming off of their 5th straight win of the season on Thursday night against the Denver Broncos. Chiefs get Sunday off before they host the Los Angeles Chargers next weekend. Despite the winning record, well, there's still plenty of room to improve.
Luckily for us, our defense is playing great, so we can go through these growing pains and try to get better and better. But I mean, the talent's there. You can see it in spurts, but we have to learn how to sustain drives, getting down the red zone, score touchdowns, and make it easier on our defense to play a little bit more free.
And then offensively, we've got to take care of business in the red zone. Had a lot of yards, positive yards, but you can't stall down there. You can't have penalties. You can't have fake field goal. We probably want to have that one back on the QB sneak. So,
only other AFC West game on this Sunday, Patriots versus Raiders in Las Vegas in the second quarter. Jimmy Garoppolo throws it to former Patriot wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who catches the touchdown. One former Patriot to another, Vegas takes a 10-0 lead. Later in the game, Garoppolo would leave due to an injured back, and he would not return to play the entire second half. So New England looking to take advantage of that. Fourth quarter, Patriots trail 19-10. Ramondre Stevenson scores a touchdown. New England makes it a one-possession game, but Pats still lead 19-17. Next Patriot possession, no timeouts. Mac Jones is in trouble, but he is sacked in the end zone. by Mason Crosby for the safety. Las Vegas holds on to beat the New England Patriots at home 21-17. Other scores around the NFL on Sunday, the Miami Dolphins keep their hot offense rolling. Dolphins beat the Panthers 42-21. Miami is now 5-1 on the season. They are tied with the Chiefs for the #1 overall seed in the AFC. And remember, the Chiefs do meet the Dolphins in Germany about 3 weeks from today, so could be a big potential tiebreaker there. We're down to our final 4 teams in the Major League Baseball postseason, and there's still a chance that we could get a World Series rematch or something completely different. Battle of Texas tonight as the Houston Astros face the Texas Rangers for the first time in postseason history. The stakes are high as it's Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Winner goes on to the World Series. At last check at the end of the 7th inning, the Texas Rangers lead the Houston Astros 2-0. Last note here, the Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball team set an all-time women's college basketball attendance record. The official on the attendance there, 55,646 fans attended the event in Kinnick Stadium, which is where the Hawkeyes play football. Iowa won their exhibition game 94-72 over DePaul. Wow. And it's great to see that many fans there. I think what's even more impressive about that, Anthony, is that you got that many fans to show up for an outdoor basketball game in Iowa in mid-October.
Absolutely, yeah. Mid-October, a little bit nippy out there. Going back to the NFL, I'm a Jets fan. My Jets pull off a win against the Eagles today. Got to shout them out. But big Chiefs win Thursday.
Yes.
I think they're going to be really well rested going into.
I think so too. I mean, it's going to be exciting for next weekend.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be right back. A man in Minnesota pleads guilty to stealing ruby slippers used in The Wizard of Oz. 76-year-old Terry John Martin admitted to breaking into the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and stealing the slippers. The theft happened in 2005. The FBI recovered the slippers in 2018. Martin's lawyer says his client has advanced chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
He's on oxygen at all times when I'm at his house. If he gets up to go get us a cup of coffee, we have to wait for 1 or 2 minutes for him to catch his breath. I think he's lived a fast and loose life, and I think he's okay with what's happening now. I think he's at peace with it, frankly.
We have some closure. We know at least who broke into our museum.
What are the questions that are still outstanding for you?
Well, where did they go? What state lines did they cross? Was a wealthy collector behind all this? I mean, all these things are unanswered yet.
A judge says he would likely schedule Martin's sentencing for later this year. Martin's lawyer and federal prosecutor in the case recommended Martin not be sentenced to any prison times because of his poor health. Taylor Swift fans turned out in force this weekend for the film version of her Eras tour. David Daniel has a look at the movie's surprising path to movie theaters.
Welcome to the Eras Tour!
Taylor Swift's late August announcement that a film of her Eras tour would hit theaters took everyone by surprise.
This was completely out of nowhere, it seems. A dream come true and music to the ears of theater owners.
Box office analyst Paul Dergarabedian says fans immediately began buying advance tickets like it was, well, a Taylor Swift tour.
They had pre-sales that were reported to be early on within the first 24 hours at about $29 million.
Multiple theater chains are reporting record pre-sales. That made Friday the 13th a scary release date for other studio films.
Very notably, The Exorcist Believer, which was set for that Friday the 13th, appropriately enough, they had to move back to the 6th.
Start over, start fresh, create the new. That's what the Renaissance is about.
Eras isn't the only major music tour headed to theaters. Renaissance, a film by Beyoncé, chronicling the tour that drew 2.7 million fans, figures to bring more to theaters when it opens December 1st.
I think we're going to see a renaissance, if you will, in the whole genre of concert films and music in theaters.
It's going to be called the Eras Tour. See you there.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Up next, a teenager writes an autobiography with an important message to kids like him. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. A teenage author has an important message to the 1 in 36 American kids like him with autism. It's in the form of the new book, Ziggy's Superbrain. While the help of his mom, Farmville middle schooler Ziggy Williams, wrote the autobiography a tribute to autistic people. The 13-year-old, who was diagnosed on the spectrum himself at a young age, says it's based on his own experiences. The content of the book focuses on many of Ziggy's daily challenges and how he overcomes them with kindness.
Great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we have some great weather in store for us starting tomorrow with mostly fair skies and a temperature of 64. Then we begin a slow warming trend up until Wednesday and Thursday when we have some isolated showers possible. And then next weekend looks great with temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s and lows in the 40s with lots of sunshine. Then the next storm system arrives around the middle part of next week with a better chance of showers and storms. But not a bad forecast, certainly for this time of year and certainly for this area.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure hoping for that rain.
I know.
Don't know whether or not I'm going to wear a jacket or shorts or what I'm going to wear.
We should all wash our car. That would make sure it would rain, right?
Absolutely. That's our time tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of tiger cubs at the San Diego Zoo. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us a part of your night.